This is where most PySpark jobs become expensive, the transformation phase. Because in Spark, transformation does not always mean simple business logic. Many times, transformation means data movement. And data movement is where money starts burning. In part 1, we saw how a job can become slow while reading the data. Now, we are looking at the middle of the job, the part where Spark joins, groups, sorts, repartitions, and reshuffles data across the cluster. So, the first question is simple. Is the job slow because Spark is moving too much data? That movement is called shuffle. Shuffle means Spark has to move data between executors, and because of that it uses network, it uses disk, it uses memory, and it takes time. So when a PySpark job is slow in the transformation phase, do not start by saying I will cache it. First ask which transformation caused the shuffle. Usually shuffle comes from operations like join, groupBy, distinct, orderBy, repartition, and some window functions. Let's take a common example. This code works, but it can be expensive. Why? Because we are joining the full customers table first. Only after the join we filter for India. That means Spark may move and join more data than needed. A better approach is to reduce the customer data before the join itself. Now, the join receives less data. We have filtered the data before the join itself. We selected only customer ID because that is the only customer column needed for the join. This reduces the amount of data entering the expensive operation. And that is the first senior rule. Do not push unnecessary data into a shuffle. Now, the next question is, can we avoid a big shuffle join? If one table is large and the other table is small, broadcast join can help. Here, Spark sends the small filtered customers data frame to the executors. Each executors get a local copy. Now, Spark can join the large orders data with that small local table. This can avoid a heavy shuffle join. But here is the warning. Broadcast join is not magic. If the table is not actually small, broadcasting can create memory pressure and make the job even worse. So in interviews, do not directly say I will use broadcast join. Say, if one side of the join is small enough, I will consider broadcast join to reduce the shuffle. That sounds much more senior. Now, let's talk about the problem that exposes real Spark experience, that is data skew. Skew means the work is not distributed evenly. Most tasks finish quickly. A few tasks keep running for a long time. So the job looks stuck, but Spark is not stuck everywhere. One or two partitions are doing too much work. For example, most customer IDs may have a few orders, but one customer ID may have millions of orders. That one key can make one task extremely slow. To check this, inspect the key distribution. This code counts records per customer ID. Then it shows the biggest customers first. If one customer ID has far more records than the others, you found a skew problem. And this is important. Here, caching does not fix a skew issue. More memory may hide the pain for some time. But the real issue is uneven data distribution. Here, possible fixes are salting, Spark skew join optimization, processing the heavy key separately, or changing the aggregation strategy itself. The exact fix depends on the data. But the senior skill is diagnosing skew instead of randomly tuning. Now, another transformation problem is Python UDFs. Python UDFs are useful when you truly need custom logic, but for simple transformations, they can slow Spark down. Why? Because Spark may need to move data between the JVM and the Python process. That limits optimization. So, for simple conditions, use Spark built-in functions. Here, the logic is written using Spark functions like with column, when, otherwise, and call. Spark can understand this expression better than the random Python function. That makes the job easier to optimize. So, the rule is not never use UDFs. The rule is use Spark built-in functions when they can solve the problem, and use UDFs only when you actually need custom logic. Now, let's connect this to Spark UI. Do not debug transformation performance only from code. Use Spark UI as well. If shuffle read and shuffle write are huge, look for joins, groupBy, distinct, orderBy, or repartition. If a few tasks are much slower than the rest, look for skew. If there is a spill to disk, look at the shuffle size, partition size, memory pressure, and unnecessary columns. If Python UDF stages are slow, check whether built-in Spark functions can replace them. This is the debugging mindset. Find the expensive transformation, understand why it is expensive, reduce the data, reduce the shuffle, fix skew, avoid unnecessary Python UDFs, then measure again. So here is the cleanest interview answer. To debug the transformation phase of a slow PySpark job, I first look for expensive operations like joins, groupBy, distinct, orderBy, repartition, window functions, and Python UDFs. Then I check Spark UI for shuffle read, shuffle write, task duration, spill, and skewed task. If shuffle is high, I reduce the data before wide transformations, select fewer columns, filter earlier, and consider broadcast join when one side is small enough. And if tasks are uneven, I investigate data skew and handle it using salting, skew join optimization, special case processing, or a better aggregation strategy. If Python UDFs are slowing the job, I replace them with Spark built-in functions wherever possible. That answer sounds senior because it follows the physical work Spark is doing. A beginner says, I will cache the data frame. But a senior says, I will find which transformation is creating shuffle, skew, or memory pressure, then fix that actual cause. That is the difference. Because the transformation phase is not just about writing PySpark code. It is where data movement becomes cloud cost. It is where slow jobs delay dashboards, reports, machine learning features, and business decisions as well. And think bigger, because data engineering is not just about writing transformations. It is moving data through systems in a way that creates value for analytics, finance, operations, marketing, customer experience, and business decisions as well. So in part 3, we will move to the final phase, that is why PySpark jobs become slow while writing the data. And question to you guys is, when your PySpark job is slow, do you know which transformation is expensive, or are you still guessing from the code? Comment down below.